everyone. Thank you guys for supporting the channel. Thank you guys so much for being positive individuals on this channel, okay? Thank you guys so much for uplifting, for sharing your stories, sharing your insight. I mean, I'm serious. It's like when you guys are on here, when we connect, I'm always able to see a lot of the things that you guys have been going through, the situations, the ups and downs, all right? And I just always respect and appreciate your insight. Did I pause there? I don't know what that was. I don't know. The phones have been finicky lately. Everybody, thank you so much for being here. I feel like I was talking and it was just like pause for a while. Adam, nice to see you. Nico, nice to see you. Nadia, hi everybody. Am I good now? Like, can you guys see me well? Am I glitching still? You know what popped up? It was that Gemini thing. You know, the Gemini AI thing? I don't know why it's even active on my phone. Like, it's kind of odd because I didn't want it to be activated. I don't know if that's just something that came with the recent update, and it's like, it thinks I'm asking it a question or something. I didn't even ask for it. It's weird. Adam says we glitch in the matrix. Everybody, thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so very much. And I missed you guys last Friday. That was October 31st. But I'm here and I'm ready to go in on a very rejuvenating concept here, a very rejuvenating topic, because it's been a long time coming. And justice is being served actively. I know I've spoken about this a few times, and I've seen some comments where people were like, well, I didn't receive my justice yet, or um, I'm still dealing with that situation, or the perpetrator is still running loose, like they're still free. They didn't get caught, or that's not my story. And I can understand, right? Because we're all in different stages and different modes when it comes to these kinds of situations. And this is why I kind of reframed the stream's title and the premise. It's justice is being served. It's an active pursuit. It's something that is ongoing. It's something that is happening, or the gears are turning and the ball is rolling in that direction, right? Where justice is not always expeditious. If you've ever had to deal literally with the legal system as well, you will see that there is no expediting this. There is no fast tracking. You could have the best lawyer, the best paralegal, you could have the best team, you could have all the dough, and it's not going to work like that, right? Where there has to be time to put together all the pieces of what has been done, all the pieces, all the perpetrators, all the evidence, all the calamities have to be discussed. Every single piece has to be assessed. And that is the making of justice being served. Maybe the perps are still on the loose. Maybe these people are seriously being evasive, right? Maybe people don't believe you. Maybe you don't have all the evidence. Maybe things are still in disarray, and it feels like these perps acting like they're getting away with this stuff. They're acting like nobody sees, nobody knows. Bonnie and Clyde type stuff. A lot of recklessness. It seems like things aren't going the way that they ought to go. But this live stream premise is a reminder that justice is an ongoing thing. Justice is not something that happens within a day. Just like if you try to build a structure within a day, it's not going to happen, right? Like you need time to build something solid, build a solid case, build a solid, catch your leads, all right? Catch the perp, investigate, ask pressing questions, all right? Justice, getting your papers together, getting your documents together, all right? It may not even be anything legal based, right? It could just be something in your life that's going on that ought to be looked at, ought to be taken care of in some capacity. And you will know, and first of all, what needs to be done in this situation, and you will know when the pieces are starting to come together, right? Like justice being served and the perps being caught, or those who are in charge or those who were involved being accountable for what they've done. That's all happening. That's all rolling. That's taking place. I've had my fair share of dealing with weirdos, right? And having to, and I just call it like I see it. I can't call it nothing else. This is what it is. I've had my fair share of dealing with very negative people and having to wait and wait and watch and just be patient and put papers together and put things together to try to build something that needs to be taken, something that needs to be dealt with, a situation that needs to be rectified in some way. And it's painstaking. It could be like that, where you're seeing somebody hurt you, you're dealing with someone that's trying to screw with you, someone could be trying to screw with your whole family, situations that are affecting your mind, right? Affecting your livelihood, affecting your pockets, right? Affecting how you move, how you feel. And it's like, when is this going to stop, right? Or when is this going to end? Or why does it seem like this is getting worse and they're getting away, but they're not getting away? Justice is currently happening and is being pursued. It's currently taking place. It's not something that happens within a day. So it's something that you should fret about less, right? And think about it as a painstaking process, but a rewarding process in the end. When the perps are caught, when they are reprimanded for what they've done, right? For when you are rewarded or awarded whatever you deserve. It could be monetary awards. It could be just a vindication of some kind, right? Where you could have been the wrongly accused party. You could have been the one that people are looking at like, oh, you did that. And it's this whole thing going on, and you have to like fight against that. You have to like fight the good fight. And sometimes fighting the good fight is it's like this long game, right? It's a long game. You got to play the long game sometimes, right? And then when you do that, you will start seeing that the tables now are shifting. No longer are the perpetrators getting away or, looking cool and fooling everybody. No, the tables are shifting. Now everything that's supposed to be happening for you and to you, instead of being attacked all the time or being on the defense all the time, now you're able to settle down, your nervous system settling down, your mind getting clear, everything making sense, the truth coming out, evidence, corroborating what you've said, things lining up. That takes time. That is not quick. So it can weigh on your mental, but you got to remember it is not a quick process. All right. And CERM says, let's see here. Rose said, sorry, I'm going to get back to that comment. I think I misread it. Yeah, Rose says you have to be patient, very, very patient. You have to be patient. This is not something that happens very quickly. We want it to happen expeditiously, but it just goes to show it doesn't matter how good you look. It doesn't matter how much money you have. Best lawyers, once again, best law firm, people who could help you, people who could, help you be seen or the situation to be sorted out. It doesn't really matter. When it comes to justice, justice is slow. If you are in this type of situation where justice ought to be served, you're going to see that the process, the timeline is slow, right? It's very, very slow. And so you have to keep your mental state right because it can weigh on you as the situation unfolds, right? And so you have to keep the faith. You have to believe, you have to tell the truth and have the truth and have your papers and have everything you got. And you have to make sure all that's lined up. You don't have nothing to worry about because you're not a perp. So all you got to do is make sure the opposite. You have all the papers, you got all the proof, you got all the footage, you got this, you got that, you got that restraining order, you got, whatever it is that you have to have in place, safeguards, documents, right? A distance, whatever it is, peace of mind. Sometimes when justice is being served as well, like you have to be away from the activity, right? Like if it's something very serious, if it's something criminal based, if you're in the thick of it and it's an everyday thing, sometimes it's really hard, it's really grueling. So you want to make sure that you have boundaries or you have third party support, right? agencies, doctors, therapists, like whoever. I'm not saying you must or that's how serious your situation might be, but understand that you do have options and you don't have to let the pressure of whatever the calamity is to weigh on your mind. You have options. You could have a free mind, and you just have to utilize whatever mediums can help you in your situation, right? So these people are being reprimanded. Like there is no escaping what they have done. They may think that they're escaping because these are the folks who think, oh, because I have the money, or oh, because I look a certain way, or oh, because I have seniority in some way, that I will get away with being this perp. I will get away with being this bad guy, this bad woman. I'll get away with it. And nobody's ever going to know it's me, or I'll buy people off. I'll buy people to be quiet. I'll get people to be on my side. A lot of the times, these perpetrators are very crafty people. They're not, it's not like there's no activity up here. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're very cunning in these ways. They will go around, they will go on the prowl, they'll try to destroy, they'll try to drag you through the mud a lot of the time. The thought of justice being served, a lot of the times the other person who's antagonizing you is trying to drag you through the mud, trying to deplete you, trying to mess with your head, make you tired, make you fatigued, make you anxious and worried, deplete you in multiple ways so that you get worn down so they could get away with whatever it is that they've been doing, right? So justice is slow, but justice is sweet. And you got to play the long game. It is the long game. And it's unfortunate. I wish I had another way to put it, but justice being served, it's an ongoing concept. But when it hits, or when it starts to hit, you will see the proof of that. You will see the tables turning. You start feeling lighter. You start seeing people, it's like the situation is being shown for what it actually is. Things are starting to catch up a little bit, or maybe there are parts of the process for you that are speeding up a little bit because certain things are being brought to light, certain evidence, certain paperwork, certain witnesses, certain things that are just lining up for you. You breathe a little better, you breathe a little easier. The perpetrators cannot continue to be evasive forever, right? And a lot of the times they push too hard, they push the wrong one. We've seen it in a lot of cases in the media where these perpetrators start getting very cocky and they start getting very sloppy with the infractions that they commit. And they start doing things to where they start making a lot of grave mistakes and they start slipping up and they mess with the wrong one. And maybe they mess with the wrong one and that could have been you. And so it's all kind of like falling apart. So sometimes it's an easy case to build, but still, because there's this history with this person, there's like this misconstrued concept, like that couldn't have been him, or he didn't do that, or that couldn't have been them. Like they don't do that. Justice is slow. They got to go back. They got to put all the pieces together, the puzzle pieces, everything's jagged. Maybe you're the one that got away. Maybe you're the one that exposed these people, but then nobody believes it. So they have to go back and track the steps of this person, what they've done, and seeing that, wow, that there is this history, there is this convoluted path that this person took, and there was deception, and there were lies, and there were cover-ups, and there were all these people involved. So it's the long game. It is definitely the long game, no doubt. Yeah, Adam says patience. Patience. India says peace is a gift from God, and not everyone gets to experience peace in this lifetime. Right. And it's the same people who have no peace in their life and who have no stability and no happiness in their life are the ones that will target. They are the ones that will hurt you, commit criminal acts, vandalisms, all right, assaults, different types of things. And then they think that they're going to get away with it because of how they look, how they dress, what they have, their wealth, their associates, their positions, their seniority. They think they could bully people. Maybe they do this to a lot of folks. And so because of this, they think that, no one's going to bring them down. No one's going to stop them because this is what they do. This is what they love. This is the rush. This is their job, right? And so justice is being served. Justice is here. It is happening. You're going to see the lives of these perpetrators falling apart, not because we want that to take place. We're not vindictive people. We're not mean. We're not harsh people. We're not trying to see people crash and burn. We're not trying to see people go down. They're trying to see themselves crash and burn. That's what they called upon themselves. That's what's happening to them. If they did a lot of dirt, that's what they're calling upon themselves, whether or not they literally did that. They probably didn't intend for the calamities that they put onto others to come back to them, but because that's exactly what's happening, justice is just being served, right? Like the tables have turned, the shifts, the gears have shifted. Things are not going in the same way that these perps are used to, right? These are people who uh, they are kind of like career sabotagers or people who continue to cause issues on a long term basis. And this is just what they do. So it might seem like because they have a long streak of doing this, that justice is not going to come because this is just what they do. This is what they've been doing. But no, the tables have turned. Things are shifting, things are changing, whether or not they want to come to terms with that. And like I said, you're going to see these people's lives falling apart. They're going to be losing associates. They're going to be losing ranking. They're going to be losing respect. They could be losing their own resources or their own finances for screwing with people, right? For messing with the wrong people. They're going down. They're going downhill. They're losing their livelihood. They don't feel happy. They don't feel rejuvenated. They can't eat. They can't sleep. Think about this. If that's what they caused for somebody else or other people, how in the world did they think that this was never going to come back to them? That's a lot of evil and that's a lot of darkness to conjure up and to give to somebody else and to think you're going to have a high life, to think you're going to have a sweet life after you cause these calamities to unfold in other people's worlds. It's going to come back to you. Right. And when it comes back to you, these people don't have that armor. They're cocky, right? And they're overly confident and they believe that they're untouchable people. Once again, the rank, the seniority, who they are, a matriarch, a patriarch, somebody who thinks they're a don, like somebody who thinks that they're like top collar, shot collar, or whatever. So they're not thinking about having any kind of armor or act of any kind of defense mechanism because they're thinking nobody's ever going to take them down and they're never going to be caught and they're always going to be seen as somebody who is just high ranking or somebody who never will be found out. And so that's where they're wrong because justice is being served against these people. I mean, for us, but it's against them. It's at their detriment because of what they've caused for what they chose to do. A lot of times these people are just evil hearted. They are cold hearted. They don't care about who they hurt. They don't, because it is a power thing. It's a control thing. A lot of these people want to control. They want to have power over you. They want to be able to dictate the terms of your life. And if they cannot, they'll try hard at you. You're a hard nut to crack. That's how they're going to see it. And they're going to try hard. They're going to get recruitments. They're going to do a lot of things. They're going to antagonize, up the ante every single time that they can because they want to break you down, right? So here's the thing, when the truth starts catching up or when the evidence starts coming out or when people start seeing that these, something's not adding up and that there needs to be an investigation or there needs to be some sort of deeper delving into whatever the situation is, that's just the beginning of the end, for these perpetrators. So they are being reprimanded. A lot of times they will hide that they're being reprimanded. They're not going to tell nobody because that means that they're showing their fear or that they're showing their weaknesses or that they're showing that there are cracks in their facade or there's cracks, there's parts of them that are not whole, that are not pure, right? So, yeah, I mean, we're not here to gloat in someone else's reprimanding, but what I'm saying, it is happening, right? This is what's happening here. And, that's just what it is. This is what they called upon. This is what they get, right? And this is what they could have tried to put on somebody else to bear. That's not fair. Everybody deserves to have a clean, blessed, pure life that the way they want to live it. Not being burdened and being, you know what I mean, being dragged down. It's just, it's wild. Justice needed to be served. It needed to take place because if not, right, these perps are going to go out and continue to victimize other people. And then what? Right? So a lot of the times the victimizing and the antagonizing ended with you or ended with somebody like you. And I thank you guys so much for being here tonight. Of course, I always, always, always love, I missed you guys last week for real. So I'm so happy to be back here. And I hope you guys are feeling fantastic, okay? You guys are amazing, very uplifting, like a family that I never had. Or I have a family, you know what I mean though. It's just like a deeper connection, a deeper vibe, a realer, something that's real, right? So something that cannot be replicated. So I really appreciate that. I know you guys are from all over, and that makes it even more thrilling for me. Like it really does make it very, very thrilling because I love diversity. I love people from all over the world. It doesn't matter where you're from. Trust me. When you're on this channel, I'm not going to care about where you're from. I mean, I do care, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just that I love everybody. I love everybody. I don't care where you're from. It holds no weight because that's what makes, the world a lot richer. Knowing people from different places and being able to connect with people from all walks of life. That's how I grew up. I grew up in Toronto, Canada. That's all I know is diversity. So I love that. I love it. I love it. I love it. Exactly. David says, God is all I need. I give them to God. I hold my peace and I walk by faith. Right. Exactly. And India says they will pay, though, for the wrongs that they do to us. They will pay, unfortunately. Right. I mean, once again, we're not trying to have that happen to them, but they called upon it themselves when they decided to take these routes. Hey, pop off then. But when you're popping off, just make sure you could like handle the remnants of that. You could handle when it backfires on them. A lot of times they can't handle that. So you see how strong you are too? A lot of the things that they try to put on you, they cannot handle when it boomerangs back to them. And then what? Now they want to cry. Now they want to give a sob story like they're the victim, they're the wronged party. Meanwhile, Tom, Dick, and Harry, Shirley, Melissa, they've been troubling everybody without shame, right? Antagonizing people, thinking that nobody will ever know, thinking that nobody's going to step up. Sometimes they don't care if people know. But they just are so cocky that they think nobody's going to ever step up to them and reprimand them. But justice, you can't escape that. Justice is not always legal based. Justice can just be your life's work withering away to nothing. Everything you're trying to build, this empire or a beautiful life or a peaceful zone, something you're trying to, like, it's not working out. It's crumbling. There's no solid foundation. It's like, you want to truly be happy. When it's time for the perps to want to be happy, they can't be happy. They don't feel happy or they don't feel satisfied. But why? Why? Is it because perhaps justice is being served? You know what I mean? Maybe finally everything that they've done wrong to people are finally catching up to them. No longer are they the Don. No longer are they the top boss or the respected person in the situation. We didn't do that. We didn't do that to them. They did that to themselves, right? And so, it's self-inflicted a lot of the times. Yep. Nico says they've been sloppy for sure. Very, very sloppy. Yeah, Nadia says, right, narcs that want to promote their phony narrative to anybody who's going to listen, to anybody who's willing to listen to these fake tales. They will spin stories to cover their own backs. This is what they do. They do this religiously because these are the folks that do not believe that the law will catch up to them, that what they've done, the ways that they've hurt people are going to be exposed. They're not thinking this way. even if they know they're doing wrong and they don't care who knows what. It's just this arrogance. It's like the people who go out in society and commit atrocities, and they leave little notes for the cops. You know what I mean? Catch me if you can. I did this. And you pigs can't find me. Like, it's like those types of folks, like they know what they're doing, and they're cocky with it. They know what they're doing, and they love it. They love the rush, and they love the drama. It's like caffeine for them. They love this. They love feeling like they're evading capture. They're clever, more clever than everybody else, and but they eventually slip up. You know what I mean? They eventually start leaving clues and cracks, and there are fractures and fissures and all these types of things going on in the background. Meanwhile, they're typing the notes in Microsoft Word, and they're leaving it in the you know what I mean? Like, they can be brazen walking into the police station and saying, "Here you go, here's a note," right? And then the cops put it in the desk, and it's like two twos. It's like, who was that? You know what I mean? And it's like, oh yeah, I'm the one that committed that crime. Catch me if you can. Like, these people can be real nutty, right? So, I mean, and of course, I'm giving outlandish examples, but I'm trying to show and illustrate how far these people can go, how berserk they might be thinking, how they could be seeing the world in a very warped way. And the only way, thank you kindly for that generous donation there. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Yeah, Destiny says that it is no rest for the wicked. There's no rest. No, well, how could there be, right? How could there be rest for somebody or an organization, a group of people, a gaggle, a gang, whatever you want to call them? How can there be rest for these individuals when they're out here committing atrocities, or they're out here literally trying to ruin the lives of other people? They're trying to commit criminal acts and get away with it. Meanwhile, they hurt a whole bunch of people, and they want to act like they're the ones who are, you know what I mean? Like, they're the ones who will literally prance around and act like they were the ones, who were victimized, when they are the perps. These are mass manipulators. These are narcissists a lot of the time. These are people who they go to the sanctuaries, they swear they're that way, and then they go home and they're doing some next ish. They're doing something else. They're not that way. They're not that person, right? So they fool people. They fool different demographics, different groups. Oh, no, they would never do that. How many times have we heard that in the media, hearing that in the news? Oh, they would never do that. He was a nice guy. He fed the children of the community. Oh, well, he was doing some other things. You know what I mean? He was doing some dark things. Or the little old lady down the street. Oh, she's feeble, and, she would never do anything like that. And they get away with it because of these superficial perceptions, because of how they look, because of how they come off. These are the ones, if you see, read some case law if you guys have some time. I love reading case law. But it's like, you'll see these cases where the people who are the least suspecting are the ones who are able long term to get away with their bad deeds, to get away with their with their crimes. The little old lady would never do that. No, look at her. She's 4 foot nothing, weighs about 80 pounds, frail, talks nice. She helps people. She bakes them little goodies. And bakes, and she's very attentive. She used to babysit everybody's kids on the street, but she could be a KILL, the rest, and I've read cases like that, and they're very eerie, right? So and they go on for a long time, and then eventually they make a mistake, and then it's all exposed, and it's so shocking because it's like, no, she couldn't have done that. They got to retrace the steps. They got to go back. Oh my gosh, she started with this guy. Then that guy went missing. Like, it's like, what? Then you find out, wow, it really did lead back to that little old woman. But that's crazy. And it takes time to build that case. It takes time because sometimes it can be unbelievable. There can be jarring aspects of a situation where people are just not believing it. They're not buying it. So maybe they're not paying attention. It could be the law that's not paying attention at first to what is being presented. The court system or the police or whoever, enforcement, right? Law enforcement. because of the circumstances, because of their first impressions and what they see. And it can be frustrating because you could be saying, I'm telling you that's what's going on. I'm telling you that's what happened to me. Nah, that couldn't have happened. Maybe it was something else. Maybe you're, blowing it out of proportion. And so that's why sometimes justice can be really, really delayed, because there are all these different personalities involved in cracking the case or having the situation rectified for the right perpetrators to be brought to justice, because there could be just so many twists and turns and oddities about the situation that are very, confusing, for sure. Thank you, everybody, for the positive vibes. Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys. Hope you guys are doing great. Ashley, nice to see you. You said, hi, I love your channel. It has helped me so much. It feels good to know that others feel the same way and go through the same things. That is, Ashley, I love you. And that is why I started this channel, because I felt like, I needed to start to speak on certain things that I was experiencing. And a lot of the situations that I was experiencing, I was keeping it to myself, or telling, like, I felt like there was just, I could not keep quiet anymore, right? And especially having awakenings and really starting to see things for what they really are. You cannot, the intel that you come into is not something that you really want to keep to yourself. You're not going to feel compelled to. You're going to feel compelled to, more likely, to let it out in some way. So ever since I've been doing YouTube very seriously, I've been feeling like it's been a massive, massive outlet of just different circumstance. I don't feel like alone, like how I used to feel. And so I'm happy that a lot of you guys resonate with the content, and that's all that it's about. I never try to embellish this channel and make it to be this big old, nah, I don't care about that. What I care about is coming on here and talking about real stuff. I know a lot of the things that you guys have been through are things that I've kept to myself in my own life, because it's like it feels like you can't talk to anybody, or people are not going to really hear where you're coming from. So that's why I always like to hear you guys' insight, because a lot of it really matches what I've been through. A lot of it is kind of like confirmation, and it's also therapeutic. And I am not a perfect person. I still go through things. I've been going through things, right? And so it's kind of like, I always feel so humble to have conversations, like in-depth conversations, and having real conversations, real topics being highlighted. A lot of them are negative. A lot of them feel weighty, but that's because that's just how life can be. Life can be very weighty and stressful and toxic, certain toxic aspects, people, places, and things. And so it's nice to be able to have a release, have a way to come out and to talk about what it is and how it's been on your spirit and how to expunge it, right? So I appreciate that, Ashley. And I hope you guys are all working on your own personal endeavors as well, whatever that might be. And continuing to speak your truth and continuing to wait patiently if the premise of this stream really does resonate for you, to continue to understand that justice is an ongoing process. All right. Do not think for a second that it's just not within your reach. These things take time. There are so many moving parts when it comes to snagging that perpetrator, or getting the right document, or getting the footage, or getting that boundary in place, or whatever the case might be. Talking to the right people, being turned away, being told to go here, go there. It elongates the process, is what I'm trying to say. You're going to be annoyed. Like, I got to go here. Now I got to go to that office. Now I got to go to that person. It feels irritating, but it's leading you closer to the answers. It's leading you closer to the documentation, to the proof, to the release that is coming with the justice being served, right? So once again, it is truly the long game. It's the long, I had to learn that. This is not something that I liked to deal with. This is something that I had to learn against my will, that justice is not expeditious. And this is just what it is. You can cry, you could whine, you could pout, you could, not eat, not sleep. These things really happen. But if you know and if you understand that it's a long game, it takes time, be patient. If you get redirected, go in that new direction, because every single redirection is leading you closer to being vindicated or to getting your monetary award, or not an award, but like a reward. Like if it was something that happened to you that you need to be paid for, or something that needs to be given to you because of what a perpetrator did. Don't be swayed by the redirections or by the time becoming longer and wait times getting more finicky, because it's all a part of the process of justice being served the right way. Think about it the right way. Sometimes when you get things real quick, it falls, it falters, it's not what it was supposed to be. Sometimes you got to give things time and hold the line, because when you do, what you get back is going to be a lot more solid results, solid feedback, solid accountability. It's going to be a lot more reinforced than if it was something that just came to you real quick. Like when they say, oh, we arrested the guy, but it's not even the right guy. You know what I mean? Because they had like tunnel vision and they went too quick and they chose somebody that looked crooked, right? They got to take the time, because it can cause problems when they do things too quick, or when things happen too fast, or there's mistakes, the paperwork wasn't signed right, it was rushed, who is that, who wrote that. So once again, so many moving parts when it comes to justice being served and the perpetrators being reprimanded for what they have caused. But in the end, or as it approaches the end of this terrible saga that is trying to get redemption, trying to get free, trying to get that justice, there's nothing going to be sweeter. Like there is literally, you're probably already seeing the signs that things are getting sweeter and your situation is kind of maybe not fully finished, but starting to turn around. And little by little, you could breathe a little easier depending on your circumstance. Maybe your circumstance is more severe, so it's not like that. It's maybe there's a lot of emotions involved, a lot of healing. Like it's not going to be so quick. Even when justice is served, it could be where it's not going to be pleasant. Even when you get the justice, it's like, oh no, because I'm still stuck with this situation, or I'm still stuck with what happened. So I'm not putting it past anybody that if the situation is more severe, that it's not going to be simply justice being served. Okay, everything's great now. There might be some other problems or other blockages or other, the remnants of what has happened, that now, there's this new process to take on, most likely healing based, and that's going to be its own journey. But justice being served in general, probably for a lot of you, if you resonate, is going to be like that major step to move forward, right? Then everything will make sense, and then everything will flow a lot better. Mello says the only boss is God. Mm-hmm. Amen. Amen to that. Everybody, this sweater, this crew neck right here. Yeah. I don't do no promotions or nothing like that about my merch and stuff. I actually took it down because I wanted to rework it a little bit and re-release the merch when it was kind of, you know what I mean? Like I'm not about self-promotion. Like I say it 1-2 times and I say, all right, because I'm just trying to be on here talking real ish. But there are some links on my main page of just different things that I've been doing, right? So if at any time you guys are interested to look beyond what I'm doing right here, it's always there. I just don't talk about it too much. Adam says they got screws loose. Yeah, most likely. Most likely. Lady says, I'm so done with family scapegoating me because they're irresponsible. Oh, yeah, family will do it to you. They'll be the worst. They will stick it to you. They will lie. They will destroy your brain, or at least they'll attempt to. There's no shame. There are many families that have perps within them. It's disturbing and it's uncomfortable to come to that realization that your kin you cannot trust, or your kin is out to get you, or they're the ones that are causing the calamities. Like, what? My mom, my dad, my bro, my sis, my grandma, the little grandma, like, oh no, she bakes for everybody. Nah, right? It could be bad, right? With the family. Oftentimes it could be worse. That might be the worst demographic to deal with when it comes to these kinds of severe situations, because families commit crimes against each other. It happens all the time, right? And unfortunately, it could be he said, she said type thing because of the nature of this group. And a lot of people just pick sides and don't want to be real. They don't want to see what the truth really is. They don't want to accept the truth. So family can be really finicky sometimes. I know how family can be. I have a lot of great family members, but some of them, man, I'm telling you, I really have to think twice. I really have to. I wonder a lot. Just about the thought process of a lot of them, and just the wayward conduct, and the oddities, and the snide remarks, and even like the covertness of it. There's a covertness that really unsettles me. And that's why a lot of the time, like for me, when it comes to certain family, because family is the group for me that I have the biggest issue with. It's not coworkers, it's not neighbors, it's not so-called friends or whatever. I've had problems with family, right? That's my issue. And how I deal with these issues is just to have that distance, right? Because sometimes there is just no getting through to these people. And the ones that I speak of, they're not plentiful. There's like a very small few and so it's like, I can't, I can't, there's no telling them nothing. It's family. It could be an in-law. It could, it's family. What are you going to say? You can say what you want to say in one ear, out the other. There's no, because they're stuck in their ways a lot of the time. And a lot of times they think they know you better than you know you. So it's very difficult to navigate familial situations that are toxic, right? A lot of them could have narcissistic tendencies. And I know some people have said, anybody can be a narcissist and anybody can have narcissistic ways. Very true. But if they're ticking every single box of the narcissistic world, there's something off about that. And there's something very, something specific with this person that needs to be dealt with. So, they could be the perps in your life. They could be the ones who you're getting justice for because maybe they did something to you and it's so bad that they need to be reprimanded. That's the worst. That's the worst. I can only imagine. Yep. India says they wear masks. It makes me sick. I hear you. I hear you. Yep. Based Afro says controlling of behavior is rooted in fear. To allow our fears to dictate our behavior equals cowardice. Of course. Absolutely. Absolutely. One thing I cannot stand is when there's somebody trying to control. Like, nah, I'm opting out of that because listen, I have to be in control of my own life and my own moves and what I want to do. I've always kind of tried to be like that since I was a teenager. I started to tiptoe away from wanting to follow the crowd and started to really stray off to just doing my own thing. But the problem with how I was moving was that when I was doing my own thing, I was a little bit reckless with it. I was not being wise with my autonomy that was growing. I was being reckless. I was doing silly things, stupid things. I was riding around with people that I shouldn't be riding around with. I was getting myself into things that I ought to not be getting into. Like, what are you doing? Right? But that's what I was doing. Right? I can't sit here and sugarcoat anything. I was not always being right, doing well, doing good, being smart. Or you could have the smarts and you just don't act on it. You just do reckless things anyway, right? So that's the thing too, is like when you start coming into yourself more, it could be like, oh, what do I do with all of this? You know, and you want to waste it and you want to act wild and act crazy. Eventually you gotta get pulled down to reality and see that, okay, you do have this autonomy, you can be who you want to be, you don't want to be controlled. Okay, that's great. But you gotta use the inner strength and the inner power for positivity, for doing well, like for getting more, for going up, not for going down and being wild and just doing nothing out here. You want to have a mental kind of groundedness so that you could be somebody, that you could be somebody that you can be proud of. And then you're going to see a whole other, smorgasbord of things that come with that. When you do finally get grounded, when you do finally become you in the best portion, the best way, watch how people start acting then. They're going to criticize you when you're acting out, wilding out, being reckless and stuff. They're going to criticize you 10 times more when you're solid, when you're clear minded, when you're making good choices. So you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And that's what it is. Never let no man or no woman control you. It's one of the worst things that you can do to yourself. Is let if anybody's in up your house right now trying to control you, get them out. Get them out. Okay? I mean, like, there might be some logistics involved, but you never want to be too close to somebody who's trying to control you and dictate the terms of your life. A lot of the times when they don't even have their ish put together. So how are you trying to tell me how to be? That can't work. So yeah, that's just one little side note. Do not let anybody control you. These people have to redirect and get in control of their own situation while you go on your merry way and do what you've been doing, right? Mm-hmm. Right. Lady says, I'm in no contact and happy, and they keep contacting me to blame them for their life. It's wild. That's what they'll do. That's what they'll shift the blame. They don't want to take accountability, you know. Like I said, justice being served and people being reprimanded, or the calamities that they've shifted to other people coming back to them, it's not always legal based. It does not always involve a judge with a gavel. Sometimes it's just things going down for them, the karma hitting them, knocking at their door. It's time because of everything that they've done. They might think they're getting away until the house of cards start to fall. And that's the karma, that's the justice, that's what happens. When you hurt other people, when you seek to hurt other people and you think you're getting away scot-free, karma comes knocking. What do they say? Karma doesn't miss a doorstep. That's the perpetrators here, right? Where they're not getting away with it. You may not ever hear anything about what's going on in their life. You may not hear anything, but you will sense it. You will see it. You will feel it. You will know there's been a shift. All right. A lot of times, once again, these people are ego driven, so they will not actually verbalize that they're going through trying times now because they're the ones who inflicted the trying times on other people. So they're not trying to come out now and say, "Oh man, like I feel problem. I'm in a problem now." A lot of the times they will not come out and say that because it's very detrimental to their ego to let this information out. But justice, whether you get notification of it or if you do not, or if you feel it or you sense it, it's happening. Once again, sometimes it's slow. Sometimes it's slow and it's painstaking once again, but it's sweet. You're getting your justice. Things are falling into line. It's not going over anybody's head. You've done your part. Don't be thinking that you didn't do your part. Maybe you have these times of doubt, like, did I even do enough? Did I fill that out right? Did I say everything? Did I show everything? Did I do everything I was supposed to do? Knowing you probably did. But it doesn't change the trajectory of the matter. It doesn't make things go quicker. It's just you doing your part, and you just gotta wait. Gotta be patient, take care of your mental health as the situation unfolds. And you will continue to see it unfold in some capacity. You will feel the weight being lifted off of your shoulders because justice is here, right? It's like getting a package and it's here, but you didn't open it. You know what I mean? Like, it's here. package is here. Like I can see the package, but it's not open yet. You know, it'll be opened at some point in time soon. Whatever's in it, whatever use I have for it, whatever's gonna be in the box, I'm gonna use it at some point of time. It's there. You may not know the contents, or you may not know, you know, how you're gonna use it, or when you're gonna use it, or you know what I mean. But it's there. It's like it's just there. And when the time is right, and the time, the pacing, and everything, a lot of the times it's just out of our hands. That's the crazy thing too, that I think is pretty like messed up, is that a lot of the times we don't ask for these situations. We don't ask to be a part of these situations. It kind of just gets thrusted upon us, and then we have to deal with it. And then it's like it could take a really long time to go away and to subside. And it's like, I did not ask for this. I did not want this. Why did they do this to me? Like now I got to deal with this, and it's taking so long. But that's why justice had to be served. That's why sometimes when you get hit hard, if you get hit hard, that boomerang's going to come back to the enemy, or it's going to come back to the perpetrator tenfold, unfortunately, because of just the severity, or maybe the long-standing nature of what they've done, right? So, you know, it ain't sweet. Not for them, but for us, justice is sweet. It had to happen. We should not feel bad that justice is being served for the grievances that we've experienced by the hands of them. I mean, nah, there has to be some kind of repercussion here. Let's not start feeling bad about, you know, how, like, oh, you know, because a lot of times we didn't ask for this. It was just handed to us, and we had to deal with it. And we have the cocky perpetrators dancing, you know, they're doing all this, thinking that they're never going to be found out, thinking they're never going to be caught, thinking that they're never going to be exposed, that they could buy people off or get people to be quiet. Or no, even a person at the top, even CEOs will be brought down. We've seen it. CEOs, people at their top, people in their prime, being brought down because of the problems, the issues, the crimes, the grievances that they've committed. So nobody is above that. Nobody, if it's you, you're going to be brought down. Like if you did something, if you committed a crime, if you hurt people, if you sabotage, hey, nobody's too good for, you know, that fall from grace. And, you know, and we've seen, and I'm telling you, so never ever think that justice is not imminent, because it really is. It's just that it's a slow burn, and it's sweet when it arrives, you know, sweet for us because we, once again, it's like that giant step to a better us, to a clearer mind, to healing. Sometimes we can't heal because we don't have justice, you know, like the justice aspect has been missing. It's been elusive. But when you get that justice, now you can kind of breathe a little bit. Now you could heal. Like now you could start the path of moving on. And without that, and that's why it's so painful to wait for justice, because you're dealing with the wrongful act that was committed, and there's no justice. So it's like a double whammy. It's very severe. That's why justice needs to be served, and it needs to be you know, executed in the correct way, in the correct pacing, so that there's no mistakes, and that everything is good. Everything's, you know, perpetrator has to be accountable. They may have to pay fines. They may have to pay with their time, right? They may get some sort of severe reprimanding because of what they've done. It might even open up a can of worms into their other nefarious actions that they may have been hiding. You know, it may not just be you. It could be you and everybody else. You know what I mean? You and others that, you know, the perp has been hiding, or things that have been hidden. So it's going to be like justice sometimes is multi-layered. Mm-hmm. It may not just be you. It could be many people, many things, can of worms, everything's out in the open. These people are exposed. Oh my gosh, I never thought that he would do that. What? He's been doing that for like 30 years? Wow, that's crazy, right? Maybe it could have just ended with you because you're the one that maybe got away or exposed or spoke the truth or shifted things. And accountability is going to come, whether it's going to come tomorrow or 20 years from now or more, right? Or less. And that's just how it goes. It all varies depending on the circumstance, right? So just keep holding that line, keep holding the faith, and understand that justice is here, right? The perpetrators are being reprimanded for what they've done. There is no escaping. Think about it. Even if they've been evading agencies and things like that, you cannot escape your mind. You cannot escape your conscience. When you go and hurt people and you do these kinds of things, it'll eat at the perp's brain. So really, are they escaping? Are they really getting away? Nah, you can't get away from yourself. You know what I mean? You have to live every single day with the things that you do, the acts that you commit, and the wrongful, the things that you've done to other people, the hurt, the sabotage, the pain, the destruction. The perpetrators can't get away from that. Even if they've not been formally dealt with, they cannot get away with what they've done because they cannot get away from themselves. It'll follow them like a shadow. And eventually, the right agencies and with due process, they will be caught up with. And I guess that's what a lot of us are waiting for as well. Not whether or not they're walking around with a shadow, but formally being recognized as somebody who needs to pay the price for what they've done. Got to pay up, right? You got to make it right. You got to take accountability and stop acting like you don't know what you did. And you can't fool nobody anymore, right? And that's where we're at. That's what it is, right? So I smile. It's all disturbing, really, but it's because justice is sweet. It's uplifting. It's kind of like a confirmation that there is a God, there is faith, it works. Holding the line, holding the faith, staying connected, doing everything you got to do, being honest. Like it wasn't like it was all for nothing. The time, the pain, the tears, like the loss, the ups and downs, the lack of sleep, lack of appetite. Could have been a roller coaster ride of craziness just to get the perps to be accountable, just to see justice being served. It wasn't easy. It's not an easy process. And if it is ongoing for you, it continues to be perhaps something that adds a strain to your life. But there are options. You can cope with this. Remember, you're playing the long game and that you've done everything you had to do. Rest pretty on that you've done everything you had to do because you wanted justice to be served. Now that you've done that, all the hard part is gone, right? The weight has been lifted a little bit off your back because you did what you had to do. Now it's time for the agencies to catch up. Now it's time for other people, other parties, other departments, whoever is involved to catch up to what you've perhaps gotten the wheels turning for, right? So I thank you guys. And I hope you guys enjoyed the stream tonight. And I thank you guys for your commentary, of course, always. It's always, very, very, very interesting and very enlightening to see where a lot of you guys are coming from. And just the fact that, it's just like this. I could see where a lot of you guys are coming from and I could feel you guys and I could understand that you guys are very intelligent. You guys are a very, very intelligent group of people who can relate and who can understand a lot of these deeper, darker oddities of the world and of people. And, I talk about a lot of dark concepts and different things on this channel, a lot of things that are dreary and kind of unfortunate. But once again, it's all a part of the healing process and also a part of being alert or alerting, bringing attention to these situations that a lot of us otherwise would just keep hidden and concealed. Concealment in these situations, when justice needs to be served or the truth needs to be, there is no concealment. Now it's time to let it all out in whichever way. Keep yourself safe and do the right thing. And always, check your situation and do what is best for your particulars, right? Because I could say things very generally, But really, as it comes down to your particular situation or situations, you obviously want to make the right choice for whatever it is specifically that you are going through. Maybe what I say might be very vague for your situation. So it's not to be intentionally vague. I like to speak on a broader level because, it's a big world, right? It's a lot of different people. So, but of course, always as you seek justice and as you stand up and you defend your territory and you do all these noble, wonderful things that you've been doing, always consider your situation, always consider the players involved, always consider your safety, always consider if you have children, your children's safety, like certain things that you got to make sure of so that you can continue to seek the justice that you deserve, but in a smart way, in a wise way, in a safe way, so that you can continue to have that peace of mind, right? And you have it all covered. I know you guys do. You guys have it all covered. You guys know what to do. You guys know your particulars and you know the players. So you know exactly how to traverse through these waters. And so, hey, you guys got it figured out. Nico, I thank you. And I thank everybody here, India and Based. And we have Josh here tonight, Mello. All right. Lady and Adam. And I saw Nadia earlier. Moran. Everybody, you guys are absolutely amazing. David. Okay. I'm just going through the list here. I love, shouting you guys out. It's just, it's nothing off my back. Trust me. I love you guys a lot. So it's always, when I'm talking, I just talk, but I like to, I like to eventually, come back to the recognition of everybody here as much as I can. Everybody, I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream once again. Thank you for the generous donation there and all the likes and all the watches. We've been here for an hour and a minute. All right. So I thank you guys once again. We're always trying to go up on this channel. Always try to keep things real and gritty. That's my approach. Gritty, like kind of just straight off the tongue. And sometimes and I know I know that maybe my approach or my delivery or the things that I say is not always going to resonate, and that's okay. That's the beauty. You know what I mean? Like even I'll watch different content creators or watch different content in general. And I'll say to myself, like, it doesn't resonate, I don't have nothing against the person, but it just doesn't resonate. And that's okay. You might take away something, you may not, but I love everybody anyway. I love everybody. And I just want to make sure that we continue all to rise and to go up. And the channel's growth is also very humbling to me as well. So I hope that continues to be something that rises. And just looking forward to a lot of things. And hey, I mean, we're in November 2025, right? So the year is winding down, which is barbaric because, it feels like we just started the year, but that's how time goes. So you don't want to get left behind. You want to keep going with time, right? And enjoying life and finishing off 2025 with a positive kind of thrust, And so let's keep it that way. Everybody, I hope you guys enjoy the stream once again. Thank you guys for the positivity and also for the compliments and just for the good energy, good vibes all the time. Always enriching. I thank you guys for sure. Lady says, I put up the Christmas tree today. That's good. I took it out of my closet too. I'm ready. I don't wait. Especially when you have kids too, like I do. It's not something that you just wait on, right? It's something that as soon as you feel that chill and Halloween passes, then you have your tree up and you're ready to go. Because I mean, after Christmas is over, which Christmas goes like this, then it's like, okay, if you only had the tree up for like a week, it feels like nothing. So November is always the time that we put up the tree, so. But everybody, I thank you guys once again. I hope you guys enjoy the stream. Stay well. I'll see you guys next Friday and of course throughout all the weeks. So stay up. Thank you guys for the support. All right. And I'll see you guys soon. Okay. Bye.